Okay, my name is Mike. Welcome to the end user roundtable. You guys are going to be able to ask questions and whatever needs to be done here with Chris, Tori, and Max. They all work at Project Tech with me, and they all know a lot about about Maximo because I have asked them hundreds of questions over my first 6 months there. So they love answering questions, so please ask them.
Yes, sir. Oh, no, not you. All right.
You guys can scoot up too. I mean, I thought this is great boy.
I was talking to some of the vendors out there, and they seem they might have a solution for me. But Chris, like when we were training, we put ppg.com as in the compatibility view. At that point, I lost graphics. Well, actually, I never had graphics. And what I've discovered, and I'm in 7.5, what I've discovered that is if I have Internet Explorer 11 in enterprise mode or ppg.com as a compatibility view, I would lose graphics. So I have to have both of those turned off. So enterprise mode is off and ppg is removed from compatibility. Then I get the graphics, my KPIs, my result sets in graphical form, etc. Now, when I do that, I lose my long descriptions, and my query fields go this way instead of wrapping. So, what they were talking to me about edge view. So, is IBM aware of this issue? Is this an IBM issue? Is it an Explorer issue? And is there anything that my IT can do to fix it so that I can have my Internet Explorer set up in one manner, be able to see my graphics and my long descriptions, so that I don't have to go to all my other users and say, oh yeah, you have to toggle this back and forth, which would be cumbersome.
So for starters, it's probably a question for the other room, but I think compatibility view should work, and I can't imagine why it doesn't. So, because without compatibility view in 7.5, that's where you lose your long descriptions.
Right.
So that part we know.
Fixes the long description.
But I don't know why you would lose the graphics. You don't use workflow, as I recall, right?
That's correct.
So use Firefox. That should take care of it.
No problem.
Chrome's not certified to work with Maximo on 7.5. So I'm going to say no on Chrome.
Yeah, I do
You
think
work with
they're
Waze.
a little finicky about what browsers they support, because they do actually have a pretty decent list of what they support, or at least we have one.
No, it's out there. It's in public.
Yeah, they're particular about what they support, but there is a list.
That's gonna be a difficult conversation, because, I'm just one site with PPG, and so everybody in PPG, oh, by the way, have to use Firefox.
Well, I'm saying Firefox was on your issue. I didn't know that. Is this everybody? All PPG
I've
global?
gone back to my host, and I've gone to my IT and explained the issue to them. Because when we were doing training, we just knew about the graphics. Well, I figured out after tinkering and asking questions, and the string of emails is quite significant, that's the only condition I can be in to see the graphics, and that's the only condition I can be in to see the long descriptions properly.
Yeah, compatibility view should work to give you both in 7.5. That's what it's for. So there's got to be something else that's suppressing your graphics when you have compatibility view turned on.
We went through Java and stuff like that.
With your Java, this is just something you could have them try to make sure that they add those sites, the .eMaximo, I forget the other site you said, I apologize. PPG, if they have those sites on the whitelist and a trusted site list in the Java application, I've had that solve problems for people. If not, the more technical room for like these types of troubleshooting types of technical problems might have some other suggestions, but that's one thing we've done in the past for people who have issues with things displaying is get the sites as trusted sites in Java, because Java has independent security settings and stuff.
Okay.
No guarantee, but just something you try.
It'll put me one step closer.
Other questions? Application questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm On the invoicing side,
Hmm?
auto invoicing off of receipts. Do you know of anyone that makes it work and? Because
You
we
mean
found
from
that
a-
we can't,
You're talking about from a contract?
no, from,
Or
directly
from
from
a,
us,
like
like a
a
purchasing
service line of a
receipt.
purchase order.
Auto invoice, so you receive a service and the invoice automatically generates?
And the invoice line will generate.
That works from a contract.
It'll work from a receipt.
Right, but is the receipt tied to an order from a contract?
No,
Directly
just
to
a
a
regular,
order?
just a
Just a
purchase
regular
order.
purchase order. Auto invoicing. It's gotta be a setting. It's the only thing I can think of.
That's what we call a good question.
Stomp the chomp.
They told us to, we went to technical, and they told us to come down here because y'all.
Oh, so they're doing the same thing as you.
Well, let's do road freight, we're just gonna send you all bouncing
So you're gonna
road
send
to
us back
road.
down here. And then Bill's gonna tell me to talk stuff. Yeah.
And then the bar's gonna open up and we're just gonna go
We're
there.
all gonna-
She's up to go.
Let her ask that same question, see what you get. There's a conspiracy maybe. They've already worked it out.
Right now, he's texting with them.
That's why they're not in the same rooms. They pass them up.
Alright.
Where do you set that, do you remember?
Huh?
What?
Where do you tell it, is there a checkbox to auto
Yes.
invoice? Where is it?
Should be here.
It should be in your PO,
On the PO line itself?
I believe so. Receipt on invoice, invoice on receipt.
Oh, there is a checkbox on the line. GL, financial period, max lines. Okay, so that's not it. If I had to guess, I'd say there's a contest that probably needs to run, but PO, somebody with lines.
Because what happens when it creates the invoice line as it takes the receipt information, and then when the actual invoice comes in from the supplier, it's not necessarily the same invoice number as what the packing list was when it was received, even as a service, okay? So they want to be able to, one, change that field and then make some do some scanning and attaching to that invoice, also that new invoice line.
So I don't see the field here on the PO line.
Is there any chance that was because of Wizard?
Yeah.
Added later?
No, I don't think so.
I'm sorry, what version?
We're 7505.
Duh. Alright.
So maybe it is something that I didn't think of. Maybe you can't do it. Well, the problem is when it auto creates that line, it's already set in like enter, or what's the status of it? So you can't do anything else, you can't do anything else with it.
You can't fix it.
Can't, right.
Issue and receipt, that's just to issue it though.
Vendor side, Chris?
Yeah, look at the vendor like the
Okay.
company records, I guess.
Yep. Hmm. Nothing here either.
Payment on receipt.
Oh,
Payment on receipt, that's it. In the middle, second from the bottom. Middle kind of column.
yep. This
Right
guy.
there, yep, payment on receipt.
The payment on receipt agreement. Yeah, but I don't see any automation that would be tied to that, but I'm guessing the Crontax is probably still your best bet. Let's see if we have one.
So if you do 4 receipts, does it generate 4 invoices?
Right.
It does. Wow.
Because if you partial, like maybe it's a partial receipt for one, or for 4 times until the whole PO is completely received. It'll create 4 different invoices for that same PO.
Anything easier we can work on.
We can give you our contact information.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the Crontax side or the escalation side that would work.
Can you change the status and back it up into an entered status?
No, we can't. No, it won't let you.
Yeah, see, if it's contract related, you can control it, but if it's not tied to a contract,
Right, and not all of our POs are tied to contracts, especially our service ones. Right?
wow. Well, that's a mess. All right, yeah, that'll require a little more research.
That's another mess.
Like I say, it may very well be just an extra field. Yeah, let's get your information, and what I'm gonna ask you to do though is to get into your Maximo and tell me the table and field.
Okay,
And then I can go from there, because I can validate whether or not it's part of this core product as delivered. That'll tell me at least 1, you've added a field, and then 2, we can have an idea of how to go and find out what's going on with it.
okay.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
In the item master system, under the specifications, is there a way to link the specifications so they auto-populate based on the initial entry?
Yeah, so in classifications, I'm going the wrong way here. Where's classifications? There it is. There's a checkbox on the classification somewhere. Generate description. So this guy,
What I mean is, we're basically entering in the MSDS sheet for all of our chemical products.
As item masters?
In the specifications of the product. And we started that with just the chemical composition and the hazards. And as we've done that, other groups have asked us to add information to help them run their systems. And our transportation department has asked us to put in the DOT section for the SDS. And that appears to be based off of the UN identification number for the product. But every UN number has a unique proper shipping name, it has a unique combination code, it has a unique packing code, it has a unique shipping code, it has unique limits for air travel. And I was wondering if there's a way to just put in the UN number in one specification and have it fill the specifications for those other.
not out of the box. That was going to require who?
Well, right now what I'm doing is I've just loaded all of that information into an Excel spreadsheet. We're going to do an upload.
Yeah,
But that's just our initial.
Yeah.
one. As we go forward, I'd like to not have the option of messing that up.
right.
You
Oh.
put your UN
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll mess it up.
Yeah, it just requires automation.
Yeah, you're gonna need probably an automation script to push that along. That's not something, so you'll have to code that.
Gotcha. I will work on that.
Yeah, because you can drive during the description, but from one thing to get multiple, so if you put something in the second attribute and then the others would populate what you want and then to push that into the description.
It doesn't need to push to the description.
Oh, just to get it in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because we have it generate on work packages or
Okay.
package labels or wherever it's needed, when it's needed. Right now, it just pulls EPE requirements based on the hazards. It also is used to generate our yearly reporting for our chemical inventories.
Yeah, automation scripts are your best bet there.
Okay.
Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about rotating assets, rotating items.
Rotables. Actually, this is a rotating item. Okay, good.
Okay, right. We actually use those at our company, but there's one piece missing that I can't quite figure out. So we can do the rotating item, set it up, and I didn't ask her, have a good, we know how to transfer that over to the location when the asset needs to come out and the regular order, all that means.
Mhm.
They bring us back to broken, do the transfer, get it back to the store. When we send it out for repair, when it comes back, it always asks us for a new asset number. What are we doing? So what is it out of the service? Sorry,
You're doing the repair on a PO.
should usually go vendor, yes.
Right.
Because you're receiving a rotating asset, so it asks you for a new item
Or
number.
we're buying that item again.
Yeah.
Repairing it, buying
Yeah.
that item.
It never lets me send that one out unless we do a service, and then that's not tracked.
So what did we do at ACA? Because we didn't have that issue.
If the service is tracked, it's not tracked.
Did we do those in work orders? We did an outgoing item receipt. So the answer to your question, we ought to know because we've done it before.
Yeah, that's-
But, you know, and he trained 25 other people to do it. He did that. So the guy who wrote the code,
I understand the in-house, when we write a work order and it's our.
Yeah.
to do that, but it's the ones that send out for rebuild or.
all right, so we'll take that one. There is an answer. The more I think about it, it's probably really related to the PO though.
Yeah, I think y'all, you might need to write a work order and link the PO to the work order.
That probably is right, because it was an off-going item receipt from a work order before it got to the PO.
You know, do we prefer not to do that as inventory when they bring up the item, set it down? It's out of the work order realm, we have to send it to a vendor. Here's our item number to the vendor. We want this item repaired, with this asset number on it.
Oh.
I don't,
So for us, this is for an airline, so essentially a new rotating item went on the work order, and the old rotating item came off.
yes.
An off-going item receipt was done, but it's still tied to the work order before it got pushed onto a PO that then went to a courier, then a vendor, and then it came back. But it kept its item number because its history stayed with it, and it would go on, usually go on to another aircraft. But we had to do everything start with a work order. So that may be the issue, but the guy who wrote it and did the reporting, he's 2 doors down, so.
We also have that link missing. I give you a good one because yours is broken.
Yeah.
My inventory hits the level, which wants to order a new one, but really I want to send the other one out for repair, so we end up with a.
Ah. So how do you prevent the reorder? Because you technically go below reorder.
Right, and, I've been doing this for 10 years and I haven't figured it out yet, so.
Be good.
Yeah, and reorder won't pick that up. Reorder just reads and says, hey, you're below point. So that would actually be a modification to reorder.
I mean, we marked it as repairable in the stock category, but we don't always target that because now your POs don't mark the stock category on the PO line. So that doesn't hurt us even more than help. So we used to look at the reorder and.
Right.
PO and it would show it was repairable and we knew for a fact that now that's on.
Yeah, because that's actually now an item organization option, not tied directly to the item anymore. sits at another table.
Right, they don't, yeah.
Oh, these are good ones. But no. Can't think of a solution, but like I said, I know it's been done before because it was up and running for 5 or 6 years, I think. But that was the issue. You know, they rotated them out, sent it out, and they brought it back. It needed to keep, for FAA rules, it needed to keep the same asset number, so it kept all of its history. And then there were reports that would say, you know, this engine it used this much oil on this aircraft, and on this aircraft it was different. You know, so it kept track of all of that. You know, so that worked. But I think it's all tied to the work order. But the guy who did it will get you an answer. Other questions? As the room kind of cleared out.
I have a similar
Yeah, go ahead.
problem. Well, it's not a problem, I don't know if I can do it. We stock a gauge that we use in multiple places on the site, stock inventory item, not rotating. But we do have an M&T program, sometimes they use that gauge. And what I'd like to be able to do is take one of those gauges off my shelf, put it on a work package, send it to my calibration lab, and have it come back and become a rotating asset.
Do you have calibration? The calibration add-on or life sciences add-on? No?
I do, and I'd like to have that taken into calibration.
Yeah, because if it's a calibration item, it does need to be a rotable.
Yeah, when it goes back.
But an item master, item, you have to designate whether it's rotating at the item master level.
Yeah.
You can't have, without 2 item numbers, you couldn't have some of each.
Right. So you need a new item number.
Right, I know I need to do item number, I just didn't know if there was a way to track, to issue that out as a work package, as a non-rotating item that's not calibrated, have it be worked on as a work package and return it.
No, because it'll have to live at item master level, and you'd be issuing the item under its non-rotating item.
Yes.
So you actually have to get it into a rotating item first, and then you got full traceability.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Rotate it first and then send it out, bring it back.
So then, of course, you got to do a current balance adjustment to
Right,
say you
yeah,
got one
well,
less.
the issuance it to-
Yeah.
so
So you have a transaction that survives audit?
Yes.
Nah, sorry.
No.
So someone will see that you did a current balance adjustment, and they're going to ask you why. So make sure you fill out the memo.
We don't make that a required field, but a business requirement is the memo that has to, when you have a report, you got one of those.
Oh, when I do this.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause that's a big deal because, you know, for a lot of people, you might not think about it when you first start Maximo, but 10 years later, all your stuff's still online, and somebody goes like, hey, you know, 7 years ago, you did a current balance adjustment of around $12,000. Do you remember why you did that? It's a ludicrous question, regardless of the amount, because I don't remember where I was. I'm not sure where I lived that long ago. But Maximo data, you know, now with hardware being faster and faster, nobody wants to deal with the archive and de-archive solutions anyway. It's all online, and your fingerprints are on it.
Yeah.
It knows that they know you did it, the date and time you did it, and that's all they know. And if the memo's not there, they're coming.
Asking the questions about rotating items, that traceability is broken.
Yeah. And if you regulate it, you need it to not get broken. Other questions?
Anyone have any questions? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
He asked him during the last session. He said,
I have more.
come on.
Can we use the workflow in the item inventory system for transfers?
You want to transfer from one storeroom to another?
Yeah, but I would like to initiate a workflow to receive approvals before the transfer is approved.
So you want to transfer a quantity of an item from one storeroom to another. So in your inventory usage, so you'd have your workflow auto start probably on a save of the inventory usage transfer record.
Requires approval, you can do approval of transfer.
Yeah, yeah. So when you basically on save of the transfer, you could have your workflow auto initiate.
Okay.
And then it would just follow the rules from
And
there.
it would work the same way for adding a new item to a storeroom, you do something similar?
Different workflow, but same concept. You do it on save and then auto initiate.
Okay. So then it'll tell you this is entering workflow, you don't have approval yet, completed.
Yeah, so you'll get the message will come across in the blue banner, and then it'll just basically be stuck there until you do something. So if you set up your workflow on auto initiation to then notify the first group, the first role in the workflow, that'll also put it on their start center in their inbox. Then you just follow it on from there, and then it can get as complicated or as messy as you want.
I don't think it's messy and complicated, for sure.
That's a nice part about workflow auto initiate. It's also the bad part about it as well, because it just continues to look. As soon as it finds something, you're in there, and then if you want to do something else, unless you put a cancel option in the workflow, it's gotta go. And if your first role has 5 people in it and they all have to sign off, you're stuck. You know, that one person that's on vacation is gonna hold that up till it gets back. You got more?
Yeah, does everybody else came up with it?
Go ahead.
This one's gonna sound stupid.
Nah.
You can write it down because I'm sure you haven't heard this. My company got Maximo for the work planning module, and they decided the task system didn't do anything. So all of the tasks that would normally be done on a task level, they create children work packages for all of those tasks. Yeah, I've tried explaining to them what the task system does based on the fact that I've seen it, and it looks like it does all the anything that they can do. They don't want to do that. I have a guy say to me, yeah, we know it does that, and we don't use it like that. But the question they've run into, the problem they've run into is that now they have these large projects where they initiate them at a project level with a parent, and then they put all the materials on it. And then they decide, you know what, this is getting complicated, we need to add some tasks for child work packages. So now they got a bunch of child work packages, now my material's not on those, and I can't transfer them to that. Because you can't. They're not linked in any other way besides that parent-child work package.
So you want to put them on the plans tab of the child work package work orders.
Well, I don't want to. I want them to use the task system because that's what it's there for.
Are they on job plans?
Usually not. Usually they're large projects and they're created once and then they're dead. And that's why I mean the task line, if it's assigned to a task number and you don't
Right.
want it to be on that one anymore, just change the task number that material's on.
Right.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
But that's
So technically, you have a function in work orders that will allow you to remove a work plan. And so you can make it go away at the higher level, but to make it appear at the lower level, you're kind of screwed unless you have a job plan. If you had a job plan, then it's just a matter of filling in the job plan field and saving. And then all of your plan information for tasks and materials copies to the work plan of that child work order in the work package. So removing is easy, but going up to do the add, that's your nightmare. But right up here, where do you go?
well, no, they keep telling me they can't use the task system because the task system doesn't generate work packages. And I pointed out to them that if you create a task line, it does in fact create a child work package type thing, except it's the same, but that it is a full work package with all of the same data.
Why is work package? Because work package is just a group of work orders with a parent and a kid. But is there something special about the package that they need? I mean, because it sounds like it's just work orders.
It is just,
Okay.
I can't get through to them. I don't know anything, so they won't listen to me.
Well, like I said, removing a work plan, this is 7.5, it's available to you in 7.6 as well. So you can definitely take it off the parent. If you have a job plan, all you need to do is fill in the job plan field on a child. That'll bring all that plan stuff over. But if it's not a job plan, it's all manual reentry.
Would it be feasible, one thing I've done on projects is create tasks, or in your case, it could be a child work order solely for the
Yeah. Out of the box, it does so much. Why twist it?
Can I ask you a question about what you just did, the job plan with materials?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you duplicated that, you don't want those, did you say a select action, you can remove a plan?
Right here, select action, remove work plan. And all that stuff is toast.
That's including labor and materials and anything else?
Yeah, labor, materials, services, tools. All four.
What status?
Oh, well, that's a whole nother issue. So waiting approval for sure, approved, technically, even if you have,
Can't do anything after when status, so like.
you do have to deal with your work plan edit options as well. Because if you want to do it at approved, you'll have to actually allow the work plan edit option to allow you to alter that. Oh, it's in workflow?
We have workflow, so.
Oh.
It doesn't really get into workflow, we don't change anything.
Yeah.
That's why, I just didn't know you could actually do that, because you included everything on the plan, so you
Yeah.
put the job plan over. So then you wipe it out right there, so it's like, if there's nothing.
Yep.
you just have the job plan.
And you can use another job plan and bring over a new set.
Sorry, I mean,
Other question? Got more?
Yeah. I don't know how Maxwell works, so. How do I record stock out? When someone comes up and asks me.
Mac?
"What's my stock?"
What do we do, PRs?
Because keep in mind, I can't use the ordering system for requisitions at all.
Why? What? Wait, huh?
I can't use the ordering system in Maximo because they won't let me turn it on.
Okay. That could be a problem.
I built an access database that pulls all the transactions from Maximo and generates the requisitions automatically.
How to record a stock out when you can't use the
We've
requisition?
done some stuff, it's a challenge with reporting, because there's a lot of variables back and forth. But kind of the fundamental for it was a reservation that's greater than the on-hand balance. Kind of depends on what your definition of a stock out is.
Right,
But
but
we've done some reporting.
that would generate a reportable incident as long as that stock out was available. Once those parts came in, that it would kind of disappear, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to be able to show, and that's what the ordering system will do for me, huh? Man, I should get that turned on.
I mean, literally show a stock out.
No, it's all, you'd have to do it based on reporting. So I think the way we did was purchase requisitions that couldn't be satisfied, I believe, was the thing that drove the identification of the stock out.
I don't understand the word you're saying.
So purchase requisitions that have to be created based on somebody not being able to find their inventory. Those were tracked individually to identify a stock out. And I think we had a custom stock out report as well, because the reporting is what drives it. There isn't a field in Maximo that says stock out.
Right.
So you have to write the rules into reporting to get it.
Okay.
Because there's not a place in Maximo that says stock out on a transaction.
What's the mechanism that says, I gave the counter today for 2-inch valve?
The creation of the requisition. The requisition was based on the fact that the parts were not available, and then
I tripped my min, obviously I tripped my min, or else I wouldn't be out of parts.
not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's the weird part about it. Yeah, it's kind of up to whether or not they've actually set the mins and maxes and they actually use them. That's a whole other issue.
No, I understand.
But the generation of the requisition was the thing that told us that it was a stock out. And I guess at that point it would almost be regardless of the whether or not you had any inventory, because sometimes the stock out is just generated because they want to keep it separate and track it on a project and not actually pull from inventory. They also want a direct issue, so it doesn't give them a false positive or negative on how the inventory cycles. Because with direct issue, it doesn't go into the storeroom, so it doesn't show the bumps, the peaks and valleys. It just, because it comes straight off the order received to the job. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of the checkboxes. It looks fascinating.
But the stock out checkbox is not present in the application. Still, even in 7.6. Other questions? And it looks like it's just you two, so it's kind of a tennis match. We're good? At least for the moment? Or you're checking? You got more?
Kind of. So remember I mentioned the the inventory for the chemicals?
Uh-huh.
Where we loaded all of the constituents for product, for our yearly reporting to the government based on our site data. My Maximo group can't get that to work as a report. So we use that access program that I built to do all the calculations and submit that for regulation. So that's not frightening at all.
But it's all table data.
It is all table data with some, yes, that's what I've been trying to.
And Access is just calculating based on what it finds in the tables.
So it's as ridiculously easy as I assume it to be, and they just can't.
Yeah, I'm assuming is what you're at 7.5 also, or
Yeah, correct.
so it's a BERT report. You're not sure.
They won't let me play with that. I don't know enough for them to let me play with it. Although if something doesn't work, they'll call me.
Well, I guess the easy way to do it is to show them the calculation that you used to generate it.
Yeah, I did. They
Oh.
tried to build an Excel report. I think it was a BERT report.
Okay.
External. They couldn't get it to work. I did mine. I went through theirs. Their coding was wrong. They had some conversions
Ah.
correctly. I fixed them and it works now, but their system's not as user-friendly as mine, so they still use mine.
Wait, it's a report.
Huh?
It's just a report, though. It's a BERT report registered in Maximo, so you go to a Maximo screen, select action on reports, right?
Yeah, it takes all of the inventory, current inventory, calculates it by the constituents based on the percentage of each chemical that's in that, and it
Okay.
tells you exactly how many pounds of every one of those we have on site at any one time. Which is related to my next question. And that is, what I've been asked to do is to express the maximum inventory of any one product on hand at any one time during the year. So basically, they want to know if at one point we had 500 pounds of specific chemical, and they want to know where that was and what date that was.
So, out of the box, there really isn't a function for that. You can turn on the audit tables, so that's what I'm going to say. So with this product that Stephen did for auditing inventory roll forward. So you can turn on the audit tables, keep track of every transaction based on whatever field you want, and you can track all of that, ups and downs.
What I built for them to give them a rough estimate was that it reviewed every transaction, every issue, return,
Mhm.
transfer, and it recorded that level on hand at that time. And then it just basically did a comparison. And then if it didn't have any transactions for the year, it just went back and on the last transaction and used that.
Okay.
So that's basically,
Yeah, that's the roll forward does the same, but we have to turn auditing on because it then adds additional tracking
Oh, okay.
of the fluctuations in inventory. And the roll forward basically allows you to go to a specific point in time or range, because we use it for a lot of people who need to do month end, and then they come up and they go, well, I want to do month end, but I need to do month end for last July,
right now.
today. You have to have the audits turned on though. There's actually,
Do you know what he means by turn on the audit table?
Yep, we're gonna write it down.
So,
It's super easy, data configuration.
yeah, actually I was going to try and find the inventory roll forward, which I believe will do both.
Yeah, because they want me to generate return data, based on since the beginning of the system, even though it was completely garbage when they first built it. But
All right, where'd it
I
go?
don't have the starting and ending data inventories for every month, except for the last 2 years that I've been in charge. Just because we've been pulling it at the beginning of every month.
Yeah, so the report's basically designed to pull that data, kind of hard to read, but you have each individual item, you have a beginning balance, ending balance, and then it looks through the transactions and the quantities for movement inside whatever time frame you specify for the
So
report.
you can give it any month.
Right, but it'll only work from the month you turn auditing on. It won't go back in time. So what auditing does is it creates a copy of a table, and then based on the field that you specify and what happens with it, as there's a change, that is recorded inside the audit table. So this guy basically goes through and reads the audits around what happened at the beginning of your audit, then the transactions that occurred during the time, and then what happened at the end. That's how you go from the beginning, the stuff that happened in the middle, and then the end. But you have to turn the audit tables on, and if you don't have them on, nothing's gonna happen.
Oh, okay, so,
So you can't go back in time if you've been using Maximo for 10 years, and you turn your audit tables on today,
right, so you turn that.
you can go from today forward.
And then build that report for the inventory roll forward, and then we can start pulling that out and
Yep.
giving it to David.
And like I said, there's a YouTube video. If you just type inventory roll forward in YouTube, it's first. But that's exactly what it's for. Yeah, I used to think people got Maximo for work orders, but clearly that's not always the case. Other questions?
They get complicated.
We got 3 minutes?
We're at 5:15 now.
Oh,
Which is the end time.
okay.
These
So-
times, awesome.
Obviously, I mean, the bar stuff's open.
Yeah.
You guys up still answering some questions, like, sure,
Well, our only issue is that we're gonna be drowned out.
yeah, the band's getting ready to start, so, is there a roundtable available?
No.
There's more Maximo huddle question and answers in the rookie room.
Yeah.
So we have the rookie room.
That's a good idea. So if you bring those back, because like I said, I'm having dinner with the guy that does a lot of this stuff anyway.
You know the big ones that I've written down before I got here.
Yeah, so come back tomorrow in the rookie room, and hopefully we'll have some more stuff for you then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I can put it somewhere.
No. It goes
Afraid about what
it goes right there in that bag. I just couldn't find it. I'm standing right here and couldn't find the bag. Right here.
What you got in that bag?
Everything feels like it didn't sing.
Oh, space station.
Oh, did you shut it down?
Oh.
Recording?
I forgot to stop it recording.
What they wanted, even though I talked it. So yes, you're right, I haven't even gotten that far, so I think I was far, I had to explain why I don't have what they want. It will lead to best more someday, once they realize what they're doing.
Oops. Thanks for asking questions, guys. Sorry we couldn't answer them all. I don't know why everybody came to me. That's it somewhere, I guess. Did you know?
Yeah, no, we had gotten that far, we're getting ready to set up a whole bunch of pumps, as rotating assets, because frankly, we just keep losing money.
Pretty sure I forgot to stop recording. I locked the computer.
We get rid of this pump breaks down, we have a replacement. It sits on a shelf.
This is a good test. Make sure we fit up here. Oh.
And then the core sits on a
What's that?
shelf, I think 6 months before somebody brings it back to me. They don't wanna call something.
No, it's gonna be, well,
Report charge, and say, "Yeah, that was a year ago, we don't do that."
No, you get Troy. I'll get Troy.
I'll just call him.
Cool.
Could be.
Super tired.
They got hot dogs, ribs,
Just off the top of my head, your
pretzels.
What if you created an asset that was just,
said you're tired, and I said food. Sorry.
No, I like food. I'm
For some
tired of
reason,
food.
I thought you said you were hungry.
I'm tired, but we have food.
We have a location, and the location was they have two homes. And then we have, we call it conditional or a whole location. So yeah, we just, and it sits right there beside it. So we just move it in now, the purple, we commissioned one, and put it in if we need it, and it sits in the shop area.
Did you do that?
And we just send out the service when we so.
We haven't even gotten that far. What we've done is we just piled up the cores, and next time they get a new one in, I instantly send one of the cores on the shelf that we've had sitting there for a year or two.
That's
So
what
we
it
can.
is, that's what it is, but yeah.
It was just
Well,
doing
I like to get
outside.
refilled.
I'll go full for it.
Now we're just saving it.
Well, you know, the time will affect us at some point anyway.
10% for the re-floor, but I thought it was okay to 40% get refilled.
We have a holding account for our inventory. So basically, the store, if we repair it, we pay for repairs. So we carry the holding repair cost, put that on the bank.
Right. They
We start
basically sell
repairing
it.
all, yes, and so if they never ask for it, we got all, like you said, we got natural here. I will not repair it every time. But the other planners that come in and out of the location of the assets, they pay for it. I just put out service, I hired, I have a little whatever. So anyway, there's multiple ways I think.
Don't know any of it. Crazy time.
You know, it's all in there together, so they're all.
Yeah. Get them around.
There's two lines. I'm looking for my doorstop.
There's the thing, doorstop.
Look there.
And you gotta angle them up, otherwise it don't work.
You gotta turn them sideways on these doors. That don't
Yeah.
work.
Alright, let's see, juice. You don't have juice. Email. Maximum questions.